Do you know what most of the losers have in common? Most of the people who have no direction, no aim, it's like when they wake up in the morning, it's almost, and their brain is nighttime. Do you know what these people have in common? Not because of lack of luck or lack of resources or lack of living in a good environment. No, not because of that. Most of these people are what they have in common is lack of discipline, lack of the art of discipline. And when I say discipline, I'm not saying the relationship you have with people. No, I'm saying the relationship you have with yourself. It is internally. As I always say, you are responsible for making sure you are in a good condition, you are in a good environment, and making sure you are achieving the reason why you are here. We are all here for a purpose. We are all here for a mission. So, in order to achieve that mission, you must have the discipline to do so. The discipline is the stairs you will need to walk toward that goal of yours, toward that mission of yours. But many people don't cut it. It seems like they have nothing going for them. And I know a few of these people. They are smart people, brilliant people. I used to know them when they were younger. Very, very ambitious people. But for some reason, you know, nothing is working out for them because the lack of discipline that connect them from where they are to where they wanted to go. So my Jambarr out there, if this is your first time, welcome, welcome. If you have been with us, thank you so much. I really appreciate having you guys every other weekend. If you subscribe, great, thank you. If you didn't subscribe, please do so. I was looking at this, the analytics of the channel. You saw me almost 92% of the people don't subscribe. So please, subscribe and also share. So today we are talking about the Talibé series. We're talking about episode 3, how the Talibés master the art of discipline. It is important. The art of discipline is what connect everything. Without discipline, nothing will work. So back in the day, I remember we had three systems which were connected. And the first system is separation of tasks. During the day, our our tasks are separated, spread it out throughout the day. If I don't know if you got my book, but if you didn't get the book, The Boy Who Found His Way, um, go grab it from Amazon. If you live outside the country or abroad, you can get it on Amazon. If you are in the Gambia, my home country, reach out to me, then I will direct you where to get it. So the boy who found his way. If you look at the here, page 7 here, you will see this was a regular system. We wake up at 5 a.m. to read the Quran here. Then we go to school around, 8 ish. That's the time we go to school. Then we come back at around 2 p.m., eat lunch. We have another mini session where we read the Quran like an hour. That's 3 to 4. Then from 4 to 6, we go to the farm until 6. Then from 6 ish towards 7, we go, gather firewoods so that we can light up the Duda. And we come back home with the firewood bundles on top of our heads. And we got home around 7 ish. Then we light up the Duda and read the Quran until 9. And if anybody have assignment at 9, then you can go do your homeworks until around 10. Or if you don't have homework, we go outside, play, and wrestle. And this was a very structured system we used throughout, today, and it has been like that for years. because I found it there, and that's how it was. And that's the first system we use to build our discipline. And the second system is on time. On time, very, very important. If you see, all the tasks I mentioned, they're all done at a particular time. You cannot miss the time. If you miss the time, the system will break, and you don't want that. If we wake up at 5, that's 5. It's not like 6 or 6:30. No, unless you are sick, you know. But without that, you have to do 8 tasks at a particular time, and the tired system is repeating that process. You know, repeating that process. It's a cycle. It never ends. Every day there is something you need to do. You have to make sure you do all of those tasks. Do them on time. That is the most important piece. On time. Then from there, you repeat the process. So my Jambarr out there, as I always say, Talibé is about how you want to live, not where you live or how you look like. It's just how you want to live your life on a daily basis. So to become a Talibé, discipline is a must. It is a must, and I want to repeat this. Discipline doesn't you know mean you need to be nice to people or you know to people please. No, I'm not talking about those kind of discipline. It's good to help and nice wherever you can, and you know but the discipline I'm talking about is with yourself. The discipline you have towards your mission, the discipline you have towards your purpose, that's the discipline I'm talking about here. And in order to become a Taliban, you must master the art of discipline. For example, when I was in college, it took me 10 years to get my master's degree from the associate to the master's. It took me for almost 10 years. And throughout that 10 years, I was working full time and going to school full time. So, how did I do that? Simple. I use those three systems. So, every day I know what to do at each particular time. If I need to go to school, I go to school. If the class is 7, I have to make some 7 o'clock. I'm there. You know, if I need to study, I study. When it's time to work, I go to work. If I want to watch football, I watch football. So my day, I separate all of the tasks I need to do during the day so that I do them, on time. And that's the system, I use on repeat, and it helped me to graduate from college. And it's a proven system. It worked out for me a lot. I still use that at work. When it's time to work, I work. When it's time to chit chat, I chit chat. I don't mix stuff. No. If I need to do anything I need to do, I have to make sure I do it at the right time. Because if you don't do it at the right time, the system will break and you will not get the resource, you want. So if you don't want to be a loser, if you don't want to be directionless in life, man, the art of discipline must be your friend. You know, the art of discipline must be your friend. If you do that process for a few years, man, you will move from here to here, and that's what great. So if you enjoy watching this episode, please subscribe and also share, and let me know what you think. I'm open to feedback in anywhere. If you have any ideas, anything you want to talk about, please reach out to me. And also, looking forward to talking to you in episode 4 in the next few weeks. Thank you.